Welcome. In front of me I have the DOOGEE T20 tablet, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of it. So anyway, let's just get straight into it. That's kind of weird that it's laying just straight up right here, but okay. Looks like a SIM ejector. Usually they're like between the paperwork. And in here we got our tablet along with a case already put on it. But the case isn't magnetic, as you can see, so it doesn't like stick to it in any kind of way. Let's see if I can find the power button, and yes I can. So I'm gonna turn it on and put it to the side for the time being and move over to the rest of the packaging. Here we have some limited warranty. Oops. We have user manual, our power brick, type C, surprisingly, and it is a 20 watt, if I can get the light to, whatever, it's 20 watts. That's basically the charging speed that we get out of it. And then our type C to type C charging cable, along with a pen. Wait, is that an actual pen? Oh boy, that is disappointing. So I was thinking that this actually could be a real pen. I mean, like for a tablet, obviously. But what it is one of those shitty, like $1 Amazon kind of things that you can get, where it has this little weird point and you can just use it on basically anything. Yeah, not the best. And then on the other hand side, if you just mess it up, you can just draw with a real pen on your device. So there we go. Okay, and it also unscrews. There we go. Fix it up. Now, nothing else in here. So let's move over to the tablet. So there is our device. Going into the specs, this has a 10.4 inch display with a resolution of 1200 by 2000. It's an LCD IPS display, peak brightness of 320 nits, with an 80% screen to body ratio and a pixel density of 224 pixels per inch. So there we go. That's basically all the screen specs. Now, in terms of what is powering it, we have a battery of 8300 milliamp hour size, and processor is a Tegra T616 with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, running on an UFS 2.1 storage type. So there we go. That's basically the internals right here. Now we do have a selfie shooter on the thing right here. This is an 8 megapixel sensor that can record at 1080p 30 frames or stream, obviously. God damn, this just feels so bad. Kind of want to check out something. So I'm gonna whip out my device and see if the same thing actually works on it. I'm kind of sketched out to actually use this on it, but hey, it does. Look at that. So yeah, obviously this is not necessarily a stylus for the tablet. This is just like a universal crappy one, so it will work, though I probably would be a little bit sketched out to use it, just because I'd be kind of scared that I will scratch something. Obviously for my device, that's most certainly a fear that I would have. Here a little bit less so, but still, with a plastic protector, this will scratch it up. And yeah, this feels bad. Anyway, moving on. I did touch upon the cameras. Now at the back, which I didn't touch upon, so let's just flip it over. At the back, that's a huge little think, for such a small camera. So at the back we have a 16 megapixel sensor, f1.3. It can record at 1440p at 30 or 1080p 30. So again, nothing really special right here. One thing that I want to mention is this camera design. It's awfully similar to Xiaomi 12 devices, like exactly the same. Let me just whip it out as an image comparison so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we have it. I guess this probably would be the best comparison, not videos. Let me show images. There we go. So it's I think there was a light version which only had 2 sensors. So let's see if I can see one like that. Anyway, even the 13, let's just give it a comparison. Here we go. So in terms of the design wise, it's literally the same. The only difference is this one has 1 lens instead of the 2 at the bottom and the 12 Xiaomi had. But even the flash, the writing next to it, and it's all here. So yeah, it seems kind of copied over. It could be that this is just a parent company, but I have no actual idea about it. Anyway, now I'm gonna take off the case just so we can see how the device looks without it. This is surprisingly silicone case. I was thinking that this is plasticky at the beginning, but it's not. So here is our device. That's kind of how it looks like. Oh boy, that's actually not a camera, my bad. That's just a dummy one saying AI. Oh boy, that's a big oof there. So yeah. So this is our device. Now, one last thing that I didn't mention, or a couple things that I actually didn't mention yet. The price, it's about 200 euros, which for a tablet, I think it's okay. It's nothing really special. I would probably still want to get something different. Personally, if you have the option, if you haven't gotten any device yet, I would probably recommend looking into something like an old Samsung tablets, the Tab S6 as an example. It could run you roughly the same amount for a used one, and it actually comes with a real stylus that is designed for the device and works really well. Unlike this, which comes with this pen slash crap stylus and just has a little bit of a weaker specs. So that would be what I would suggest for the people that have the option to. Obviously, if you haven't ever gotten a used device, I would either recommend to ask someone who has done this before, or just do a thorough research about it, because obviously you can sometimes get scammed by it. Someone might sell you just like a faulty device that has, well, that isn't working in every kind of way, or the battery could be just absolutely gone and needs to be replaced. So keep that in mind. But in general, if you know how to look for it, I think most of the like higher end or mid-range devices from, for instance, Samsung, because they are, in terms of like tablets, they do produce a pretty decent like tablets with styluses that come included in the box, unlike, for instance, Apple. So yeah, I would probably recommend going for that. It seems to me like a better option over this, and the price, if I am correct, I haven't checked it, should be roughly about the same. So that's kind of what I would suggest. Now, the only downside is most likely you won't be getting Android 12 or 13 on like the older tablets from Samsung's, so that is something to keep in mind. But for the most part, you don't really need like the newest Android. It's not gonna give you all that much, so it's not such a big problem, I would argue. Now, to finish this off, and kind of go into the positives and negatives of this device. Let's start off with the battery. We have a pretty decent battery size right here at 8300. That's a good battery size. We also have a decent amount of RAM at 8 gigs and a built-in storage of 256, which again is pretty nice. So these are internals, which obviously you can't really see, but they do add into their experience. The display right here is also pretty nice, being at 1200 by 2000 pixels. So it's also, for a tablet, a decent pixel density right here at 224. Now sadly it's just an LCD IPS. The brightness should be adequate for indoor use at 320 nits, so that's okay. And I think for like the positives, that's about it. Now the negatives would be cameras here are just kind of meh, like they're nothing special in any kind of way. The stylus that we get is just a kind of like a dummy stylus. I wouldn't say it's usable. This is literally something that you can use on any other device, and having such a thing included in a box just feels like a China moment here. You can get these at a dollar store, and they work with literally everything. So that's a big no-no to me, especially for a device that comes with stylus. So that's one. The case, it's nice that it comes included. One problem that I have with it is the little flap right here isn't magnetic in any kind of way, and second of all, it's well, it's just kind of like too big. It flops over it. So if you can kind of see it, when it was on the device, it just flops over it. Just feels very cheap and not the best thing. Another thing is I don't think we can use it to stand up to the thing. Maybe we can somehow. Let's see, how the heck would that go? I guess like this. Okay, so yeah, we can use it as a stand. But still, not magnetic. Feels really cheap, to be honest. Not good as a starting thing. I can't really complain about it that is being included. I would like to see something a little bit better. And I think that's really all I have negative to say about it. I have no idea how powerful the processor in here is. I would hope that it's somewhere along the lines of like low Snapdragon 600. I would hope. I have no idea if it's somewhere along those lines. That's good. I'll say that's adequate for a device like that. But something tells me it's far off from that. Now, that is something that I would recommend you checking out, just to see if whatever you need this processor to perform, it can perform. Obviously, every device will perform whatever task you throw at it, but it's just a matter of how well they will be doing those tasks. So if it's like super slow, if you want this for instance, gaming, or maybe just browsing in some way, if obviously it's struggling to play videos on YouTube at higher resolutions or stream videos at respectable, for instance, like 4K res with, I don't know, just what you would expect, then obviously that's not going to be a good processor. But if it's doing whatever you need it to do, then I don't have any problem with it, and neither should you. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about this device. It's just a tablet, nothing special, nothing really terrible, and that's about it. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.